Hi folks, Ian here again for another edition of TI Hack. This is a special session because you only get this session if you subscribed to my website unpeopletraction.co.uk. In the last episode of the GDPR series, we just did a very brief introduction of the general data protection regulations that are coming into Europe in 2018. You'll see a link up here up above my head going through to that video and website. It's a public video, you can watch it, you don't need to subscribe or do anything like that. But highlight of that video is if you are not GDPR compliant, your business could be fined 5% of its total revenue for the year. Imagine being the person that didn't set up their system properly, and the resultant fact of that was that your large corporation got billed 5% of its total revenue for the year. That wouldn't be really great for your career, would it? Okay, so let's talk about how we become GDPR compliant. Now there is actually quite a lot of information within this, and there's quite a lot of things that we need to do to become GDPR compliant, but we're just going to start with the very first one today. So the first one today that we're going to talk about, so in the last video we talked about how candidates usually come along to our job adverts, apply, get sent to an email address or get sent to an applicant tracking system. That's all fine, that's pretty compliant, as long as you've got certain things along the way that we'll talk about, but then how do we use that to actually benefit us in the future? And that's the most important thing here really. We need to make sure that the data that we're paying for here is actually going to be able to be used in the future, so we can email people, we can call them, we can go out and we can actually market our jobs to those folk. So how do we do that? Well, it's pretty simple actually. What we need to do is whenever a candidate comes on to the job advert, they need to go through to our career site, hopefully on your website. Whenever they actually apply, they'll be on a job advert, something like that. There'll be lots of information on this job advert, and then there'll be an apply button. Now, one of the things that you will always have at the minute is you'll have some form of confirmation tick box here, but we want to add either an extra piece of information or preferably want to make a second tick box that says I am happy to receive recruitment marketing related information in the future. This tick box here will give us the ability to communicate with candidates in the future, but it doesn't just stop there. So once somebody has entered in to your database through that method, what we need to do is we need to start them into a very short campaign. You can build this campaign on Candidate ID and it manages all of the subscription, unsubscription, all of those settings for you. So what you need to do is you need to send this person, first of all, an opt-in email. That opt-in email will say, thanks for subscribing to our site. First, before we start sending you information, we need you to confirm your email address and confirm that you're happy to receive this information. That's just a link that sends them to your website, and then Candidate ID picks up that they have visited that, and that allows us to start marketing information to them, okay? But what we need to do is we need to think about how this works as a process actually, because whenever they receive that email, they have a decision to make. And that decision is, do I confirm? Now if somebody does confirm, then they get added to a confirm list. And that means that we can market to them in the future, and that's all very well and good. If they don't confirm, we have two options here. We can remind them to confirm, and if they again don't do that, we have to purge them. So we'll have to add them to a list that is do not contact this person in the future, and then after a time decided that is relevant by the business, you take their details off your marketing system altogether. This is really important. If you don't do this properly, you are going to not be compliant with GDPR and you risk being fined big time. Now, what does this decision look like? So, well, if they are confirmed they go into a list, but whenever they're actually at this stage, they need to be in an unconfirmed list. So this is the list of people that have been sent this email, and we're just waiting for them to click on that email. Once they click on that email to say yes, I'm happy, then they go through to the confirmed list and we can mark it to them. So this is a really simple way to set up your very first email campaign, and if you do this as the very first one you create, that means you're always going to be GDPR compliant, and it means that you're always going to be on the right side of the law, and also you're going to be communicating with people that really do actually want to communicate with you, rather than just spamming everybody. So that's the start of how we become GDPR compliant. There's actually something that we need to do with this list every 6 months in the future, but what we'll do is we'll cover that off in one of the future videos. So make sure to stop back, watch that video, and well, thank you for lasting it the whole way through another session of TA Hack. I'm Ian Hamilton with People Traction, and we'll see you in the next video.